New horror story. I met the Kuntilanak ghost bride asked me where her baby was. I moved into the apartment in Kuching 2 years ago, and I still sleep with every light in my house turned on. It started with the temperature. My studio would drop 20 degrees without warning, always around 2 a.m. I'd wake up shivering, my breath visible in the suddenly frigid air, condensation dripping down the windows like tears. Then came the crying. Soft, heartbroken weeping through the thin walls, so raw and desperate it made my chest ache. I was an exchange student from Vancouver, barely 3 weeks into my semester abroad, and I thought maybe my neighbor was going through a breakup. The sound was haunting, not just sadness, but grief so deep it felt like drowning. Sometimes I'd lie awake listening, feeling guilty for eavesdropping on someone's private pain. After 2 weeks, I couldn't take it anymore. I knocked on my neighbor's door. "Excuse me," I said to the elderly Malay woman who answered. "I just wanted to check if everything's okay. I've been hearing crying at night." She stared at me like I'd said something impossible. "Crying? Child, I sleep very soundly, and besides..." She gestured down the empty hallway. "There's no one living next to you. That unit's been empty for months." That night, I pressed my ear against the wall so hard it left a mark. The crying was definitely coming from the vacant apartment, but now I could hear something else underneath the sobs, a wet, sucking sound, like someone drowning. I called the landlord the next morning. He confirmed the unit was empty. "Water damage from a burst pipe," he said. "Mold issues, uninhabitable." But the crying continued every night, and the temperature drops got worse. On Friday, I found them. Wet footprints in my bathroom, small and delicate, leading from the bathtub to the window. The water was still warm when I touched it, and it smelled wrong. Not like tap water, but thick and metallic, like blood mixed with jasmine. I live on the 7th floor. That weekend, I bought a thermometer and started documenting everything. Temperature drops, exact times, duration. The crying lasted exactly 17 minutes each night. The footprints appeared 3 times a week, always fresh, always warm. Then I found the hair. Long black strands clogging my bathroom drain, even though I'm blonde. Wet clumps of it, so much that I had to pull it out with rubber gloves. It smelled like stagnant water and rotting flowers. Saturday night, I decided to record everything. I set up my phone and waited with all the lights blazing. At 2 a.m. exactly, the temperature plummeted. My breath came out in white puffs and frost started forming on the windows. The crying began, closer now, like it was coming from inside my walls. Then I heard water running in the bathroom. I grabbed a kitchen knife, my hands shaking so badly I could barely hold it. Steam was pouring out from under the bathroom door, but the air was still freezing cold. How was that possible? The door handle was ice cold when I touched it. It burned my palm like dry ice. I pushed the door open and immediately gagged. The smell hit me like a physical blow. Jasmine flowers left to rot in stagnant water, sweet and putrid and overwhelming. A woman stood in my bathtub, facing away from me. Long black hair hanging in wet ropes down her back, white nightgown clinging to her skeletal frame. She was crying, her whole body convulsing with sobs. But the sound wasn't coming from her throat. It was coming from somewhere else, somewhere deeper, like it was echoing up from inside her chest. "How did you get in here?" I whispered. She stopped crying instantly. The silence was deafening. Then she began to turn around and I saw her reflection in the mirror first. Beautiful face, perfect skin, but her eyes were completely white. Not blind white, but pearl white, like they were filled with milk. When she faced me fully, I saw the truth. Where her stomach should have been was just empty space. A gaping hole I could see straight through to the shower wall behind her. And from that hollow cavity, dark water was pouring onto my bathroom floor. She smiled at me with perfect teeth and water spilled from her mouth when she spoke. "My baby," she whispered, her voice like drowning. "Where is my baby?" I ran. Crashed through my apartment, threw myself down 7 flights of stairs, and didn't stop running until I reached the 24-hour McDonald's 3 blocks away. When I finally went back the next morning to pack, I found something that still makes me physically sick. Written on my bathroom mirror in what looked like condensation but couldn't be erased. "I followed you home." The writing was on the inside of the glass. I transferred universities that week, flew back to Vancouver and never looked back, but she kept her promise. 2 years later and I still find long black hairs in my drain. I still wake up to the smell of rotting jasmine. And sometimes when I'm alone in my bathroom, I hear that soft crying and feel the temperature drop. She's still looking for her baby, and I think she believes I know where it is. Thank you for listening. If you really like the story, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more daily horror stories. Thanks.